a lot of alumni of both universities, and I think, therefore, we've got a good opportunity to draw well for that game as well, those two games. So we've had an interesting season, and I'm looking forward also to the spring and the summer, to get out in the community and build it, you know, before, say, September or October for next year. I think there's a lot of groundwork that has to be done in the off-season, and it's going to be very interesting. And I think the future of basketball and the future of intercollegiate basketball in the East has a very bright prospects for success.
Brian Heaney, Jack Donahue said we're going to ask all the coaches across the country this year who's going to win the national championship.
The St. Mary's University Huskies.
Brian Heaney, thanks very much for chatting with us. We'll return to our post-game show right after this message.
Now, according to these latest time and motion studies...
The building is closed.
My dad works here.
I wanted to point... Freddie, what are you doing here?
Daddy, is time really worth money?
Well, yes, it is.
Well, I like to play ball after supper.
Time is priceless. The Bible says our days are numbered. Are you shortchanging your family?
Canadian Red Cross. People caring for people.
Yes, sir.
Oh, give me some juice.
Single or double?
Oh, single.
What else?
Just a free lunch?
No, this is the free lunch with a single.
Oh, okay. Give me a double. There's no free lunch.
Well, Jack, Heaney's gang did everything he wanted them to. They got a lot of points, well over 100, and he got everybody into the ballgame.
Scoring machine, Mickey Fox, the shy, retiring Brian Heaney. That's what we started out with this afternoon. That's what we end up with. I think it was a predictable outcome, and they really showed their power, St. Mary's.
Well, they are the defending champions, of course, and we wondered if they would be as great as they were last year, having lost a couple of really big men, but it looks as though, if anything, they might be a little bit better. Okay, that's it for Jack and I. Back to you, Don Whitman.
113-81, the final score for St. Mary's over Wilfrid Laurier. Next week, we'll be at the University of Calgary as the Dinosaurs play host to their arch rivals from the north, the University of Alberta Golden Bears. Now for Jack Donahue and Ted Reynolds, I'm Don Whitman saying good afternoon from the Metro Center.
This is CBC.
I'm the neighborhood professional. You be the buyer or the seller. What's the difference? Well, if you're the buyer, I'll help you get the house that's just right for you. And if I'm the seller, I'll show up your house, take out all these papers, and help close the sale. I won't have to do hardly anything. That's the whole idea. Oh. Congratulations.
Century 21.
we know how to close a sale. For you.
Now, can I be the neighborhood professional?
Every Monday night at 7:30, CBC Television in Southern Alberta presents a program called Reach for the Top. It's a fun program pitting high school student against high school student. And students will go to all kinds of ways and means to come up with some good luck, including bringing their good luck charms, such as Tilly's Tagger right here. But to give Tilly a very hard time and a run for their money in this fourth game of the second flight, we have a team from Bassano. So why don't you join us Monday night, 7:30 for Reach for the Top, Channel 9, Cable 6.
From Calgary on Channel 9, Cable 6, this is CBC, serving Southern Alberta.
Well, in this close-up shot, you see how closely the Pidzarko twins resemble each other. But I've got it straight. You are Cathy.
No, I'm Chris.
Now I've got it straight. This is Chris, and the other one is Cathy, right?
No, I'm Cathy.
Go out and curl. From Monton, New Brunswick. The CBC Curling Classic. Ladies against the men this afternoon on the CBC Curling Classic. Hi, everyone. I'm Don Whitman. This afternoon, we feature the reigning Canadian ladies champion, Cathy Pidzarko of Winnipeg, against the Canadian men's champion, Ed Lukowich of Medicine Hat. Both rinks defeated Swedish opposition the first time out, and in so doing, received a check for $1,000. This afternoon, they'll be playing for $3,000, and the winner will advance to the championship game on the A side of the double knockout event. To describe all the action for you, let's now join Don Chevrier and Don Duguay.
All right, Don. Well, Doogie, we saw the Swedish matchup, Ragnar Kamp and Elizabeth Branas. This one promises to be a lot more competitive. I'll tell you, these national ladies champions from Winnipeg can curl.
Well, they're good curlers, and Lukowich is going to have to be very careful with them.
I don't think he'll take them too lightly, that's for sure. This matchup today, of course, oh, that's not fair. You're supposed to just shake hands, that's all, and just go out and play the game. Now, I don't know if this is cricket or not. You suppose they have time to play?
I'd be a little nervous after that.
Well, we'll see what happens here in our matchup this afternoon. The pleasantries are out of the way now, and they must remember they're playing for some pretty good hard cash, a chance for travel, too, courtesy of Air Canada. Well, they're playing it the conventional style. If you don't get more than one, then you try to blank the end. And Cathy has had last rock here in the first. That's exactly what she's attempting to do and does draw a blank end. Second end, the same story. She wants to make the most of that coin toss. As you know, Don, these shots are by no means easy to achieve this. So you often run the risk of missing completely. Here it is again, the third end.
Well, I'll tell you, this is exceptional shooting by Cathy because she played all three of these shots in three ends and blanked every one of them. So that's good curling.
Just curling enough to catch a corner. Ooh, that's a little tender. But she got it off the ring. So, with no score through three, here we are in the fourth end now, and lead Ron Schindel will start things off for the Eddie Lukowich team. They're from Medicine Hat, of course, the Alberta and Canadian men's champions. Dale Johnson plays second. Mike Chernoff actually calls the shots, but throws third rocks, and Eddie Lukowich plays last stones. With Cathy, her sister Chris, and Iris Armstrong at second, and Patty Vandy is the lead. They're from Winnipeg.
You know, Lukowich has got to be thinking to himself, boy, she played three great shots, first, second, and third end to hit and roll out in blank ends. He knows he's in a curling game now. The girls know the ice, they know the weight and everything else, and so they're really going to have to concentrate to beat this team.
Here's Patty Vandy. That's going to hang around. That's about the first real mistake they've made, this Pidzarko team.
This it's really not a mistake, Don. That rock is off the center line, and Cathy having last rock, she might be able to utilize that and get in behind.
On Schindel again. This one coming up short, another guard out in front. So an interesting fourth end in progress here. Those push brooms certainly shocked the Europeans when they came over to Winnipeg with the silver broom and saw the Canadian champions playing with a European-style brush.
Cathy would like Patty here to hit and roll over to the other side, set up another corner guard.
Takes it out of play, rolls away, so just one guard out of the front now to contend with. And Dale Johnson coming up. Burned a couple of rocks in the game with Ragnar Camp, but he's trying to shake the tanglefoot tag that his teammates put on him.
Chernoff knows how this ice runs down. They played a couple of rocks down there, and it won't break till the very end, depending on weight. And Dale looks like he's maybe just a bit strong. Now he's starting to make a move. He's got nice 4-foot weight.
That's where it winds up. And that has that cover from a long guard. The second for the Pidzarko team is Iris Armstrong.
There's a lot of room, Don, between that guard and the rock in the house. So Iris got to be very careful here with her weight. If she just throws maybe forward weight, it should take off. She's got to worry about that guard, though. She might have thrown that one a little bit inside.
She threw pretty good weight, but the broom was the story. She was a bit narrow and did wreck. Very stylish, competitive young team from Manitoba that won the National Ladies Championship in Lassie last year. And this team in Vancouver at the Brier in 1978 emerged as certainly the class of the field. There was no doubt that this was the best team, although there were runs taken at them by Bernie Sparks and by Rick Pope. Lukowich certainly deserved that Brier victory.
Well, he did. You know, they played consistently well all week, you know. And as the week wore on, they got better and better, and you knew it was going to be a pretty tough task to beat them.
And, of course, their disappointment in losing the World Championship here in Winnipeg in the month of March.
Well, you know, they run into a very hot Norwegian team, Don. They couldn't do anything wrong. Right, they couldn't put the rock in the right place, and the Norwegians would come up with a great shot, great double kill, and no matter what Lukowich did, everything turned out wrong for him.
She'll have the raise, take out a 10, but unfortunately it stuck right on top. The main shot rock.
Lukowich is asking Mike Chernoff to go in over to the open side. He feels that one is fairly well covered. And put a little bit of pressure on the Pidzarko rink here. Well, he's got lots of weight. Should start digging in now that's over the side.
And they sit there with a pair, nicely spaced. Lukowich and company are to repeat as Alberta champions. The road to the Brier will take them to Ottawa early in March. The Lassie Championship to be contested in Montreal just the weekend prior to that.
It's an interesting call by Cathy. She wants her to run the front one. Rather than hit that one in the open and maybe roll into the 4-foot, she elects to take off the guard, and unfortunately she rolls over and guards the other one.
If they'd stayed on that, she might have had a better split.
Now if Chernoff can get the guard on just halfway between the house and the hog line, a little off that center line, they're going to have 2 rocks in the house completely behind cover.
This man is so steady under pressure, Mike Chernoff.
Don, he has a beautiful delivery. Look how fluid he is. And the big thing about Chernoff is he's very square to the broom all the time. His shoulders are square. He never turns them.
Now they finally go to work on Chernoff's rock. It almost got there all by itself. A little touch-up, rolling over, and there they sit with 3.
And that rock was a little bit heavy. I'm sure Lukowich would have liked to have seen that rock out in front. But because it was heavy, Lukowich asked him to sweep and get a bigger split on it. And now Chris can maybe, if she hits half a rock here, maybe make the double.
Nice delivery on her part.
Right up. Hurry. Right up.
Boy, they're really working on it. She needs a little bit of a roll here.
Doesn't get it. She'll stay with second shot. Time for the skips to come into action, at least in the case of Lukowich, the last shooter for his team. He gets a bit of an inside roll over near his own, and once again, they are lying 3. Remember, the first 3 ends have been blanked by the Pidzarko rink. They have last rock here, but facing a big pile of trouble right now.
Well, Cathy can make the double here. If she hits that front rock right on the nose, she could make a double.
Right up.
She's got good weight, and the girls are sweeping all the way down the ice. She may be a little bit on the inside of it.
Ooh, she just missed that back one. Stays for second shot. Well, Lukowich has a decision to make now, and they've made it. They're going to just play down quietly and try to bottle up that situation to prevent Cathy from using her own stone to play back onto theirs.
Well, that's right. It's a tough shot for Lukowich to take that one out and keep his shooter. He's allowed to drive it on his own on the forefoot. So he's just going to play the guard and hope to steal a point this end. He's got good line down. He's going to have a perfect guard. You don't want to take it in too deep.
They get off it, as you see, edging up, just as a biter. That's a pretty good-looking guard. Well, Cathy's last rock, she can't get what she'd like to do is, of course, go over and bump that up. It's a straight draw shot for her.
She's going out a little wider, Don, so she's going to have to put a little extra weight on it. It all depends on her weight. She looks a little bit strong. Rock has got some curling to do if it's going to hit that forefoot area. I think she's just going to be a fraction strong. Yes, sir.
Too bad. A little bit heavy with the last draw, so after blanking 3, Lukowich steals the 4th end, goes in front, 1-0. Now, word from Don Whitman.
Mike Chernov, it's life and death out there.
Well, we didn't expect anything different.
Well, most people in watching the Canadian men's champion play the Canadian ladies champion would think the men would have a rather easy time.
Well, the Canadian ladies champion represent the best of a lot of curlers, and so they have to make a lot of shots to be where they are, and they are making a lot of shots.
You tried to get them into a hitting game early, and they responded.
Well, I think that they were going to hit anyway. You know, they just want to keep it clean.
We'll see what happens over the balance of this match right after we pause for this message.
Vitality. The young have it. Alberta has it. That's one reason why CN spends a major share of its capital resources here on whatever it takes to operate efficiently. It's a CN responsibility. It's also good business. For a vital West, for Canada, for CN. At CN, keeping Canada on the go is a business as well as a responsibility.
You want to feel fresh, fresh, fresh. Can't wait to feel fresh, fresh, fresh. So when you're feeling tired and weary, come alive with fresh. 'Cause new fresh is like a plunge in the ocean. Three fragrances so invigorating, revitalizing, like a plunge in the ocean. Fresh, fresh, fresh. It keeps you fresh.
Come alive with new deodorant Fresh.
Sports on CBC, and Saturday is hockey night in Canada. Enjoy all the action, the highlights, the replays, and the between-period interviews and comments by some of the best analysts in the business. Hockey night in Canada on CBC.
Tonight over most stations, the Sabres meet the Canadiens at Montreal. Fans in Southern Ontario will see the Colorado Rockies and the Leafs at Toronto. That's tonight live at 8 Eastern Time.
Iran, a country on the brink of anarchy. Violent demonstrations continue to rock the capital city of Tehran. The Shah has agreed to leave the country, but there are still doubts the new civilian government can survive. The flow of oil from the country's vast reserves has slowed to a trickle. A news magazine crew is in Iran. For an up-to-the-minute report, watch Iran, Survival or Anarchy on News Magazine, Monday night at 10 on CBC.
The prize money in the CBC Curling Classic for the winning rink is a potential $20,000. In addition, each member of the winning rink, courtesy of Air Canada, will receive 2 tickets anywhere in Air Canada's world.
You know, Don, it shouldn't be too surprising, perhaps, that Cathy missed that last draw because they've been playing strictly takeout until that point.
It is difficult. You know, you're playing a lot of hits, and then all of a sudden you're forced to draw to the forefoot, so it is tough to get your weight.
Well, it's a bit of a demoralizing effect, but only 1 point it cost her, and so in the 5th end, it is 1-0 for Lukowich over at Pidzarko. And starting it off will be Ron Schindel. He's asked to drop one out in front.
I really think Lukowich and Chernoff, the first 3 or 4 ends, decided to play takeout with the girls and see what would happen, and they responded really well. So now they're going to resort to the draw game and see if the girls can rise to the occasion in the draw game.
Cathy Vandy will be playing a hit on this one. It's right on that center line.
Yep. Come on. Right up. Come on. Come on.
It's drifting out a little bit. That's what she needs to get the split. She does. Matchup between the reigning national ladies and men's curling champions. While we're at it, Don, we should wish viewers across the country a very happy new year. Coming up just a couple of days, remind them that we'll have Silver Broom, the Briar, the World Junior Championship, all live for you, early in 1979.
Ah, we're looking forward to that.
These 2 rinks have their own New Year's Eve party right now before the match started.
Mark. All right.
Again, on that center line, nicely out in front.
That's good curling by Ronnie Schindel. He's halfway between the house and the hog line, but the key for Ronnie in that shot is the fact he's on the center line.
Remember Ronnie at the Briar in Vancouver once, and he was chasing a heavy rock down the ice and almost blew right through the far end of the Pacific Coliseum. He couldn't stop.
And once you start and get a good head of steam up, it is hard to stop.
That was never your problem.
I had trouble walking.
Well, she's done it again, rolling it over, but it's in play on the left.
That's a good shot by Cathy Vandy. Now they have the corner guard up. It's going to be interesting to see what Chernoff calls here. And I think he's going to throw another one up in front. He's going to say, okay, girls, we're going to do a little bit of gambling here. We'll see how you are at the draw game.
Dale Johnson playing the shot. Well, that's a change from the first 4 ends. The 1 point of the match belongs to Lukowich, who stole the 4th after the first 3 were blanked by the Pidzarko team.
And this is just going to make it.
It does, again, at same spot on the center line.
Cathy, once again, is going to ask Iris Armstrong to hit and roll off.
Yep. Right up. Hurry. All the way. Shot, Iris.
So, the center line guard is gone, but those 2 corner guards remain.
But that's good curling. You know, I know a lot of men's rink that have trouble peeling rocks off that center line. You know, they have a tendency to overthrow and a little bit inside the broom and make contact right on the nose and leave a lot of garbage out in front of the house.
I'm wondering about the supposed advantage in sweeping that goes to most men's teams against most women's teams. Will that be somewhat diminished with the fact that the Lukowich team is using the push brooms?
Push brooms are very, very effective, but I think you're right, Don. The advantage has to be with the men in sweeping, whether they're using corn brooms or brushes. You know, 2 good corn broom sweepers can take a rock 15 feet, you know, and when it comes down to you have to draw to the button, boy, that's a tremendous advantage.
I just thought maybe the push brooms wouldn't require the brute strength that a lot of men's teams have as an advantage over women's opponents.
Well, to operate a push broom properly, boy, it takes as much energy as a conventional corn broom.
She's got one, rolls across to the opposite side. They're going to try to get that one on if they can, but it won't make it. I'll tell you, if you want to lose a little bit around the tummy, get a push broom, go curling with it for a season. Can't hurt.
Oh, any kind of sweeping, whether it's with a push broom or a corn broom, boy, it's good exercise. And you're right, it'll take off weight.
Time for us to go back curling, I think.
I may be a little late.
Here's Chernoff.
And he'd dearly love to get this one in around the guard. Boy, they're going to have to go because that rock is starting to curl now. Boy, they're really bending it. No, he's not going to get by. He's just going to rub it.
Opens things up a little more and staggers onto the 12-foot. Finally, we've got a rock on the rings. And this will bring up the third, Chris Pidzarko.
There's an opportunity here for Chris to get a little bit of a roll. If she hits half a rock, she could roll in behind cover.
Yeah, sorry.
Cathy yelled right away. She might have turned it in.
Well, she's on that rock. She may not get the roll she was after. No, it'll stay right there. But I'll tell you this much. This Pidzarko team plays the takeout game exceptionally well.
Well, they sure do. They're very accurate. They hit the broom very well. And if they do have one problem, it's maybe with throwing a little bit too much weight. They have a little trouble with weight.
Chernoff wants the roll. He may get it. He does. Way over. He may be sticking out the other side with that one. Well, it's a tough situation, but it can be seen from the outside. But I think she'll discard that thought immediately.
See Cathy taking a look at it. She doesn't figure she can hit it with the wide in turn, so she's going to elect to draw through the port with the out turn.
It does curl pretty well there, depending on the weight.
She's got good line, just depends on her weight. Chris yelling, how's the weight? They're still sweeping, and that may be a little strong, that rock.
Now they're off.
Oh, is it going to hang on?
Don't think so. No. Just a bit strong. So Eddie Lukowich will play this shot. Flying one.
Well, he's playing the out-turn draw, Don, and he wants to stay in front of that tee line. He just wants to get around that corner guard, a little bit of protection, and put a little more pressure on Cathy. He's got lots of weight on this one.
I want it to curl all by itself and get in behind there. He's just back of the tee line, the back of the 4-foot ring to lie 2. And he's got partial cover now.
Well, Cathy doesn't want to move this rock. She wants to play exactly the same shot that Eddie Lukowich did and just kind of freeze to that rock, kind of corner freeze it. If she does, it's going to be very difficult for Lukowich to get it by his own.
Well, she has room there. That whole out-turn side is open to her, taking a pretty good amount of ice.
Well, she wants to be in front of it, Don. She does not want to touch that rock, because if she touches it, her shooter will roll into the open. Well, they're going to have to go in this one. She's got beautiful looking line, and the rock just has to start coming over. No, it's changing turns, it looks like to me. It is.
Yep, it's going the other way. Now settles back a little bit and regains its former turn, but the damage is done. Curled a bit at the end, but it zigzagged down the ice, going 2 different directions.
It looked like she had kind of a dead handle on that when she released it, Don. And that's just a question of following through. If she maybe just cut it a little bit short, instead of extending her arm right through the delivery, she kind of let it go dead, and that's the reason she had no turn.
The tip to avoid that is to follow through and put a definite turn on the rock. Make sure you get the turn. Back off this one, waiting for it to react. Got a corner, that's all he needs. Rolls out of play, but they still lie 2. So Cathy will get a chance to play this shot again, the one that she had the misfortune of losing the turn on the first time.
Well, Don, her weight was pretty good on that first one. It's just a matter of the girls. She throws the same weight. The girls get on it right away. She has to be full in the 4-foot. She doesn't want to overthrow that, because if she overthrows it, it'll hang out, and that's exactly what's happening. It's got a long way to come. She may be a shade heavy.
Mm-hmm. She's added too much, and it's going to cost her 2 points. Tough break for Cathy Pidzarko. Lukowich steals a pair. And now it is Lukowich 3 and Pidzarko nothing. Once again, down to Don Whitman.
Next week, the CBC Curling Classic features Bob Nichols against Rick Folk. Rick, you catch a world champion. If you lose, you go against another world champion.
That's pretty tough company, isn't it? It's, you know, real good to be here and to play against these fellas, and we're looking forward to it.
Bob Nichols, I think you would probably be the first to admit you were dodging bullets in your initial match against Paul Savage.
Well, that was a game that we were fortunate to come out with a win, as I told you once before, and we haven't won a game like that for a long time, and we're just happy to be here.
Not much room in the scorecard for a story, though, is there? They just put up the numbers.
That's right.
Bobby Nichols against Rick Folk next week on the CBC Curling Classic.
We look forward to that match indeed, Don. And Doogie, there's no doubt now, having fallen behind 3, Cathy and the girls are going to have to change their strategy, get out of rocks and play.
Well, that's right. Lukowich will play the takeout game now that he's 3 up, and Cathy's going to have to throw up some front guards and hope to steal a couple points.
Coming up with his second rock at the end is lead Ron Schindel. They've traded takeout shots. He'll be going after this one on the 4-foot ring. He's played very well, 78%.
Come on. Right up. Sweetheart, come on.
Well, they're going to have to go to get a piece of this one.
Just got enough. Weight saved him. Nothing in play now. As we pointed out, there's no doubt that they've got to go to the draw game, Cathy and the girls now, to get something going. They've had 2 ends stolen on them, and they trailed 3-0 to Eddie Lukowich and company. Here's Patty Vandy at 70%.
She may be a little strong. I would think Cathy would like this one just in front of the house, about 2 or 3 feet, kind of a corner guard.
Okay, Patty.
Appears as though she's coming right in, hoping for a miss on the part of her opponents. This one is into the 8-foot. Dale Johnson is curling at 78%, the same as Schindel.
The Lukowich team, Don, will be quite content to just exchange hits with the Pidzarko team and score 1, or even if they score 2, they've got control of this game now. And Cathy's going to have to resort to maybe throwing up some corner guards and playing the odd free shot to get more than 1 on this end.
Iris Armstrong, who is matching Johnson shot for shot at 78%.
There's a slip coming out of the hack there, and she really flipped it out there. She looks a little bit strong. This could be costly.
Yeah, she lost balance, and that's the result.
Well, she wasn't very close to that rock. That's when you yelled on him, well, thought you had it for a minute there.
For a split second. Dale Johnson again.
And he wants to split the house. And that way he's going to force the Pidzarko team to take 1 on this end. Boy, they're going to have to work on this one. I think Dale's pulled the string a bit.
Yep, she's come up short. That opens the door for the Pidzarko team now.
You don't think these girls know this game? Look at here. There's a rock over in the 8-foot they could hit and lie 1 on. No, sir. They're going right around the corner guard. They know that Lukowich made a mistake by dropping it short, and they're going right around it.
They use that guard while it's there.
Here, Cathy yelling, lots of room. Just wait. Good-looking shot.
He's got shot rock. It is not completely buried, though. Most of it is open.
Mike Chernoff can see about a half a rock. The key here for Mike is his weight. Look at the game he's curling on, 83%.
He's the top shooter on either side today.
They're really brushing this one. They got to worry about that guard. Looks like he's by.
He has enough to get it. And the weight, well, enough to hang on to be second shot of the bag.
Once again, I think Cathy's asking Chris to go in around that corner guard. She'd like it a little bit deeper so that it buries a little bit more.
She's competing with Chernoff and is 20% lighter on scoring today.
Well, that rock is taking off, Don. I don't know whether she's going to get around that guard. No, sir, it's pulling over on the guard. In fact, she may raise it in.
That they don't need. 3 of them on there now. Still has the one out in front, but it's becoming a faint hope with 3 Lukowich stones in the house. Here's Chernoff.
Lukowich knows that Cathy's trying to get in around that corner guard, so he's going to beat her to it. He's going to ask Mike Chernoff to draw around that corner guard. Full in the 8-foot. Hope that he buries. That rock is staying out a long, long way, boy, and he may be a little bit light. And let me tell you, if he stops short, Cathy will go around that guard.
Okay, that's good. All right.
Sure enough, that's exactly where she called it. Let me tell you, there's a lot of red rocks in play, and Cathy has to get one in there somewhere. Partially buried.
Yep, hurry.
Boy, they jumped on it right away. She might have turned that one in, Don. They're going to have to go. Boy, that rock is curling over onto that red one again.
One more on the rings. A total of 4 there now.
Chris has had a little trouble this end. That's 2 rocks that she's raised into the rings for the Lukowich team, and I think, Don, maybe she might have turned them both in.
At 80%, Lukowich having an outstanding game.
Lukowich has got lots of room. It just depends on his weight. That rock is running fairly straight. It's got to curl a bit if it's going to bury.
Slowing down now on the 4-foot, just back of the tee line. Doesn't bury, but he lies 5. Well, let's see if they can get the shot they want this time. They've got the backing now, the one on the 4-foot. It could get them out of a tough situation.
Well, Cathy would love to get an inside roll here. There's enough room for her to get by the guard and hit the rock on the inside and get out of this end. But, boy, they're going to have to go on this one again. I think she's turned it in herself. She's on the front one.
May get a break off it. No, nothing. So Lukowich, lying 5, without last rock, playing yet another draw to really put the pressure on Cathy Pidzarko.
Of course, the danger here for Lukowich, he doesn't want to go too far in the house and allow Cathy to follow him down. Well, he's got lots of weight, Don. He may come in too deep.
He's good. Got it, Andy.
And slowing down now. He's back in the 4. And that actually is going to give her something to shoot at, maybe.
Well, it gives her something to shoot at, Don, but I think if she comes down here and hits this rock right on the nose, where her shooter will stop will be back here, and this back one belonging to Lukowich will be shot rock. So she's got a very difficult decision here.
She'd have to roll a little bit with it and just stagger in to be shot, but you talk about pressure in this game, it's always there in spades when you're playing your last rock, as Cathy is, against 6.
Oh, she's dropped her head. She might have thrown this one away out, and she's got lots of weight. Oh, this could be a big 6-ender. Now they're starting to sweep it. They're looking for a wick off that other one on the side.
And she gets it that way. She got herself a big break on what she'll be the first to tell you was a poorly thrown stone. Here it is.
Look at this, Don. Boy, you talk about the element of luck. She's way out there. Looks like she's going through the hole. Lukowich is going to get 6. She rubs that front one and rolls over it. But not only that, she makes a double kill. The only way she could have got 1.
Well, she has a right to be happy and relieved about that. Only 2 off now after 6 ends. Had she missed that one, it'd be 9-0, the kind of score they use when a baseball game's defaulted, and certainly she'd be out of it. But as it is, she's pretty much alive. We'll get back to our match in just a moment.
Coffee Crisp, you are more than a candy bar. You're layers of wafers so crisp, so light, with a chocolatey coating that tastes just right. A center of coffee cream that's so bubbly it's light as a dream. Then layers upon layers are all stacked, and in a chocolatey coating you're wrapped. Coffee Crisp, you're more than a candy bar. You're a nice, light snack. That's what you are.
Calgary, it can only happen once a year. Furniture World's New Year's Madness, and you can bet this is going to be some celebration. Everything they sell is reduced, like this love seat. It's a great buy at just $99. Bedding sets complete with box spring and mattress, priced as shown. Or cook and quick with a microwave oven at just $399.99. Let the bells and buzzers ring when Furniture World lets loose with their very own New Year's Madness. Everything they sell is on sale right now. Furniture World's New Year's Madness.
No one beats Furniture World.
The Fifth Estate, Tuesday night on CBC. Via Rail has taken over the train passenger system in Canada. But what is the cost, and is it worth it?
If the current subsidies that are provided to the train passenger system in this country were given to the bus industry, every bus passenger in this country could travel for free.
Watch The Fifth Estate Tuesday at 9:30 on CBC.
Sunday on CBC, The Albertans, the hard-hitting story of the people who built and are building the West.
Listen, if you feel like filling in, want some extra cash, I might have something for you.
You got yourself a deal. And those who went before us will return to live in harmony in the land.
Leslie Nielsen stars in The Albertans.
Tomorrow night at 9:30 in Newfoundland.
Well, a moment ago, you saw Cathy Pidzarko get a real break on a rock that she really deserved to miss, but that often happens in curling.
Well, that's right. She threw it really badly. She got out of the end very fortunately.
Well, and she's alive now. She's only 2 points down. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been almost handshake time because they'd be out of it trailing by 9. So it's 3-1 here in the 7th end. Lukowich is lying, too. He's got last rock. Here's Chris playing a takeout.
She's throwing big weight at this one, Don. She'd like to get a little bit of a roll over to that other one on the right-hand side, but she may be hitting it too thin.
Gets the roll, but it's in behind. Sure enough, at this stage, playing to trade shots and get 2 and widen his lead. This man is deadly. He's got tremendous takeout ability for hitting the broom and using the right weight, and a dependable draw player as well.
He's just an all-around great curler. Like you say, Don, he very seldom misses a takeout. His draw weight has just been on the tee line just about every time. He's just an exceptional curler.
And his second trip to the Briar, winning it all in 1978 with Lukowich, Johnson, and Schindel.
Cathy may have thrown that one out again. Starting to make a move now.
Just the one. With the rollout. So she's having a little broom difficulties in terms of the weight she's throwing in these takeouts, it appears.
Well, you know, she's trying to make a perfect shot. She's down 2 points. She has to get back in the game. She can't afford to give Lukowich 2, so she's trying to make the perfect hit and roll.
Watch it!
And that's difficult.
Sometimes you can finesse those shots a little too much.
Wow. Well, that's right. It's a lot easier when you're 2 up than you're 2 down.
Right.
Right on, right on.
Lukowich puts it back.
Come on, Eddie.
Well apart from the other one to lie 2.
Well, the good thing about that shot for Lukowich, he went back deeper, so the rock is second shot, and he's actually changing the shot for Cathy now. She's going to have to throw the in-turn.
Different side of the sheet, different turn, different target. This one's hanging out on her, taking its time coming over. Now it's going to make contact. But that roll, now that kills her. She's too far. In fact, she's right off. Eddie Lukowich is going to have a draw for 2.
You know, on a fraction of an inch more or less on both those shots for Cathy, you know, she could have got out of this end. Lukowich has got a free draw for 2, which isn't easy, but if he scores 2 here, he's got pretty good control of the game.
I would think in the 7th end, barring that rock picking up something, that Ed Lukowich will have the weight.
You notice he's playing the same turn that he threw on his first one. He knows the weight, he knows the ice, he knows how it's going to react over there.
All right.
Played the same turn.
He seems satisfied. Indeed, he should be. The rock is there. He's got a pair. So Lukowich capitalizes with last rock, gets 2, now leads after 7, 5-1. Now let's get a special report from Doug Maxwell.
We've already mentioned on this year's Curling Classic that the Ottawa Brier will be the 50th under McDonald Tobacco Company's sponsorship, the final year under the tobacco company's banner. In 1980, when the Brier moves into Calgary, Labatt Breweries of Canada will be the new sponsor. 50 years is some sort of a record, and to help celebrate the Golden Jubilee Brier in Ottawa, the tobacco company has invited all living former championship skips to come forward and be present to bring the era to a fitting climax. You can just imagine such magical names as Ken Watson, Matt Baldwin, Ernie Richardson, Heck Gervais. Why, I imagine that even Don Duguid will be present. Sounds marvelous. However, the occasion will be tinged with sorrow, because former Brier trustee and International Curling Federation President Coley Campbell will not be present. The 77-year-old legend of curling passed away on Christmas Day of 1978. He'll be sorely missed at the Brier in Ottawa. That's Update.
All right, ready for the 8th end now. Eddie Lukowich is lying 1. They have the 4 skip rocks remaining. Cathy's got last rock. She trails 5-1. This battle between the reigning national men's and women's curling champions.
Cathy Pidzarko has tried a lot of freezes and draws to get back in this game, but Lukowich's team is really curling well down, and they're chipping everything out and hitting everything, and Cathy really can't get anything started.
They're sticking around, too, in their takeouts. That's a big, big difference.
Well, Cathy knows that she has to get more than 1 if she's going to get back in this game, so having to resort to the draw game is a difficult game. You have to be so exacting. You can't corner freeze it. You got to freeze it perfect, because the Lukowich team is hitting very, very well.
It's also something that they haven't been doing all day long. It's been basically a takeout game, and when you have to resort to it under those conditions, it's all the more difficult.
So here's a perfect example. You know, instead of a perfect freeze, just hit the rock and roll into the open.
Yeah.
And the Lukowich team are not going to miss those open hits.
It's available to them. Want to get it on the angle to clear the backing in behind.
Then he's not too concerned whether he sticks around with this one, as long as he doesn't drive it on the back one and allow Cathy the opportunity to score 2.
He picks it out of there. Away goes the shooter. He still lies 2. So again, Lukowich has done his job. That is, prevent the Pidzarko team from getting more than 1.
Boy, Cathy's got a lot of weight on this one. The girls have dropped off it. They're not sweeping it at all. Patty's just going to watch the line. She's right behind it. She has to be half in the 8-foot to score a point here, but she may be a bit strong.
He hasn't drawn for a while, and that is showing now. It may hang on to the back. Nope, not enough to allow her to score. 1 more for Ed Lukowich. He goes into a 6-1 lead after 8 ends. And it's been a story of missed opportunities, really, for Cathy Pidzarko and company in this game.
You know, I think if they were playing anybody else but the Lukowich team, they'd be right in the game, but the Lukowich team is curling just great.
That's the point. He will give them a break no matter what they do. We'll get back to our match in the 9th end right after this.
Better keep a watchful eye.
You want to feel fresh, fresh, fresh. Can't wait to feel fresh, fresh, fresh. So when you're feeling tired and weary, come alive with fresh. 'Cause new fresh is like a plunge in the ocean. Sweet fragrance is so invigorating. Revitalizing. Like a plunge in the ocean. Fresh, fresh, fresh. It keeps you fresh.
Come alive with new deodorant Fresh.
The golfer was an important craftsman in early Canada. Here at Fort Langley, British Columbia, barrels were made to ship salmon as far as Hawaii. Get in touch with your past at Canada's National Historic Parks.
For children, families will receive medical assistance. Even more young people will learn to read and write. Through CARE, you can help to provide needy people with the means to work their way out of poverty. But the result of your kindness will not end there. Year after year, the school you help them build will continue to educate children. The health services you help them improve will continue to heal the sick. And the agricultural facilities you help to develop will continue to provide life-giving food. Your contribution to CARE today will help needy people for years to come. Send your check or money order to CARE Canada, Department 2, 1312 Bank, Ottawa, K1S 5H7.
Ed Lukowich leads Cathy Pidzarko 6-1 as we're into the ninth inning, and you might expect that Ron Schindel would throw the first rock through, and that, of course, is the strategy Lukowich will play here.
Well, that's right. He doesn't want any rocks in play. He feels he's got the game won. He's just going to throw them through the house and clean everything off.
He does not want to give Pidzarko any chance to mount a big end. Let's see what happens with Patty Vandy now playing her first one. Schindel, as I said, has thrown his through. She'll be dropping one short. Over on the corner. He did not take a broom to it, and it'll stop just out in front.
You know, Don, of course, stranger things have happened. In a game previously, Paul Savage was 2-up coming home with the last rock and lost to Bobby Nichols. So, you know, anything can happen in a curling game, and that's why it's played on ice.
Nichols said he hadn't won one like that in a long, long while.
So maybe it's the Pidzarko's turn.
He's got enough to get rid of it and roll away. Well, Cathy's had one big break already, in a negative kind of way. It prevented her from falling behind 9-0 when she saw she was wide with a shot, caught one of her guards out in front, ricocheted in, and wound up scoring one to stay alive in the game. That made it 3-1. But since then, 3 straight points for Lukowich has given him a 6-1 lead, and that's what he enjoys right now in the ninth.
No one's doing funny things.
That rock's doing funny things. He's snaking a bit on the way down.
Well, I don't think Patty had very much turn on that. It looked like it was going to the in-turn, then the out-turn, then went back to the in-turn.
Dale Johnson.
That ice is running very, very straight. You saw where Chernoff had the broom. It was right on the rock. And really, Dale Randall didn't throw that much weight at it. Just nice carrying weight. You can see how much it moved.
Slide roll for him. And I'd be awfully surprised if Pidzarko and company are hitting here. The ice indicates that Iris Armstrong is being asked to draw down to it.
She was fairly well on the broom there. Cathy had that broom just a little over center, and Iris released it right on that point, so she hit the broom pretty good. Just depends on her weight.
Whoa.
The rock is starting to curl now. She looks like she's going to have nice weight.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
Just touches it back. Not quite frozen. Certainly enough room for Dale to get that out cleanly.
We'll see once again, Mike Chernoff put the broom down just on the edge of the rock, so the ice runs very straight there, Don. Just nice carrying weight. You should get it either on the nose or on the inside.
All right, that's good. Not much you can do.
Yes, it certainly is good. Normally, that's an ideal double situation, but not in this instance. Iris Armstrong again with the draw down to those two.
Less weight. Come on.
Looks like Iris has got nice weight. Just starting to sweep it just to keep it straight. It's starting to curl over now. Even if she moves them around, it's not a bad shot.
Whoa.
And get those sweepers to stop.
Shot.
That is, well, maybe third shot, but it's in play in front of the 2 Lukowich rocks.
And Eddie's going to ask Mike to clip that one out of there. And he's really not too concerned about the rocks behind it either. He just wants every rock out of play. They're not in the house. The opposing team cannot score.
Playing big weight. What a job he's done. He has got everything completely out of play. The shooter and the 3 rocks on the ring.
Well, that's no good.
I guess it isn't. There's Jack McDuff, former Briar champion, looking on at this shot. What a fine shot it was.
It looks like a Minnesota Fats pool shot. Look at there. It really throws big weight at, makes contact with the first one, and spills all the rocks out of the house. A great shot by Chernoff.
Looked like a fire drill. They all left in such a hurry. So that doesn't give Pidzarko any hope to come back in this game. A shot like that. As Chris now will play her first.
Well, it's certainly demoralizing. These girls won't give up. They'll keep battling back, even if they get coupled.
Okay.
This end, they'll fight right to the bitter end.
That's good.
They need at least 3 really to stay alive. A couple maybe to keep going. Mike Chernoff is coming up again, the destroyer on his Lukowich team. He has sights set on this guard out in front.
You know, it's amazing how accurate Mike Chernoff is when he throws big weight. Look at this rock. There's a vapor trail behind it. Watch him hit this one and roll off.
There it goes. He's not leaving anything around for Cathy and the girls to work with.
That's a sweeper's delight.
Especially late in the game. You've swept for 8 ends prior to that. Of course, you skips don't know anything very much about that, do you?
Sweeping wasn't one of my strong points, I'll tell you that. Although I used to do it early on. When I first started out curling, I was a good sweeper for half the game.
Come on. Okay.
Well, she would have liked to have seen that on, but the way Lukowich is shooting, it really shouldn't matter. They'll be gunning for it and quite liable to get it.
The only hope Cathy has here is that Lukowich hits this on the nose and she can maybe draw around it and get 2 points. Lukowich, of course, wants to peel this one off.
I think he'll stay. There he is, so that's a break for her. At least she has something to work with now. She's got last rock in the end. Trailing by 6-1 here in the 9th.
Cathy should know the ice here. There have been about 4 or 5 shots played down there, so she should know how the ice reacts. It all depends on her weight. If she overthrows it, it really hugs that center line. But if she's got the proper weight, it'll curl at the end. She's got a good-looking shot. They should start sweeping, get it deeper, and in more behind the guard.
Not quite completely buried. You can see almost all the rock, I would think. 7/8 of it.
Yes, the girl should have been on that one all the way and swept it right to the back.
Whoa!
Further back, the more buried it is. But boy, Lukowich is going to be close to missing this one here.
He did. So there's a break for Cathy Pidzarko. Now getting a chance to draw for a pair.
I think Eddie went to sleep on that one. He really hummed that one down there.
He's curled well, like Chernoff, in the area of 80% today.
Well, they're not sweeping this one, Don. It could be a little bit strong. Nah, she's right there.
Yep, she taps it back. So she gets 2 on the 9th end. 6-3 is the score, and then in the 10th end, a case of running out of rocks. And Eddie Lukowich wins it 6-3 over Cathy Pidzarko. As you said earlier, Don, there was just no way that Lukowich would allow this Manitoba